So I chose to talk about the CurtainWall system, which is pretty much a glass-based system on the exterior walls. I'm gonna go through the assembly from the beginning to the end, and then I'm gonna talk about some benefits, and I'm gonna include a bunch of pictures and more details in the slides, so I don't have to go through it most of it in the video. And well, it all starts from the beginning, like everything, the layout, knowing where the system is going to go. You can't mess that up because if you do, someone else is going to be messed up and it's not a good thing. Once you know where the system needs to go, you're going to get your verticals, the moyens is what they're called. It's aluminum hardware. So you're going to line that up where it's supposed to go, plumb and level it with a tool called a laser. It's used among the trades and helps line up things, level, plumb, square, whatever you need for it. It's a nice tool. So once you establish that, they're all straight, standing up, then you go on to attach the horizontals, which are installed with little clips, and those clips are attached to the bottom of the horizontals and to the side of the vertical moyens. I'll include pictures so you can see that. It's easier. And how the system is actually anchored is in the bottom. Typical, you use bolts, depending where it is. If it's in concrete, you're gonna use obvious concrete anchor bolts. If you're gonna drill into steel, a lot of the time they use fasteners. And in this case, what I'm gonna show you is this job site had both. It was a mix of fasteners into steel and then concrete bolt anchors. And then on top is typically always steel or some type of backing, not concrete. And we use 1/4-20 screws most of the time, which is what we're using right now. So I'm going to include pictures of those. And once you have that fully anchored and whatnot, if it's a long run, it'll also have what they call clips on beams. So that's extra support so your system's not swaying side to side and it's locked in. That's fastened. Oh, it's bolted as well with the nut and the washer and Loctite typically. And that's where the shims come in place. If you don't know what they are, they're just plastic spacers, I guess you could call them. And they're also used for a lot of other things. So you'll go ahead and do that, and your system's pretty much locked in place. And then from there, you have to waterproof it. And what that is pretty much applying these things called water diverters. They help the water run where it's supposed to and not get into where it's not supposed to. You install that with caulking, and all that little type is specified in the plans. So you know what caulking to use and what not to use. So once it's waterproofed and you add your setting blocks, which is important because the glass cannot sit on the bare aluminum. It needs these rubber blocks called setting blocks. Typically on CurtainWall systems, they're about 1/2 inch. The glass is ordered typically 1 inch over daylight, so it could get a good grab on the system. And that leads me to setting the actual glass. Oh, before that, you also need vinyl along the vertical moyens and horizontals. That's for the basically rubber, so the glass doesn't hit the aluminum as well. It's a gasket. Once that is all waterproof and vinyled up is what they call it, now you're ready for the glass. And this is the fun part where, depending where where you set it, glaze it, it can be in the first floor, ground level. It could be up in the air. It could be in a skyscraper. You don't know. Well, probably not a skyscraper if it's this type of system. But anyway, yeah. So once you do that, you get the glass and you glaze it. You set it, and that's held on by what they call pressure bar, and that's kind of what it sounds like. You screw it into the screw raise on the vertical moyen, and it applies pressure to the glass so it does not fall out. And there's so many screws, maybe every 5 inches or something, 6 inches, there's a screw to hold that into place. So it's really secured. I'll include pictures of that as well. And then after it's all pressure barred in, another thing is you gotta make sure you apply caulking when you do the pressure bar, because it's another part of the waterproofing. And after that's all pressure barred, you gotta beauty cap it, which is basically the finish. It's what you snap on. It's what makes it look nice. It's what covers it all up. And you typically just put that on by hitting it with a rubber mallet and a beater block so you don't make dents into it, which is what a lot of people do. So you gotta watch out where you hit it and how you hit it. Once all the beauty caps installed, sometimes there's a finished perimeter caulking. There's always one before to waterproof it. I didn't mention that earlier. So before even that, it's caulking on the perimeter to waterproof, so nothing goes inside. Sometimes they do a beauty bead after, but this one they're not taking that. And after it's all, pressure barred in, it's good to go. It's pretty much finished product. One important thing on the horizontals of the beauty cap is weep holes. So remember how the water diverters play a role? They push it that way and they go straight into those weep holes. So if water's supposed to go in, it's not supposed to go inside the building. So it has a place to drip in the weep holes so it doesn't clog it up. So it's important to clean that before you close it up permanently. Otherwise it could be not a good thing. And then some benefits of this system is, well, first of all, it looks really nice once it's installed, and if it's installed nicely, it's cool. It makes the building pop, and it's what you see when you first, see the building, the glass. Another thing is, natural sunlight. Usually a lot of offices have that because they do their work. They know where to put the glass, where to not put the glass, engineers and architects and whatnot. So it works out to their favor. They get light when they need it, light when they don't. And it's also a pretty fast system, It's not as long as installing a whole wall. But I think those are some benefits. There could be more. I'll include them in the slide. And yeah, that's my talk.